Your EV's battery health indicator shows 95%. Range estimates look normal. No warning lights, everything seems fine. But 3 months of continuous winter driving without a single correction cycle is slowly creating voltage imbalances, inaccurate range calculations, and degradation patterns that won't fully reverse when spring arrives. Professional EV fleet managers who keep batteries healthy past 200,000 miles follow one simple monthly routine throughout winter. It takes 90 minutes, it costs nothing, and it prevents the slow, invisible stress that causes permanent range loss, which people blame on their battery dying. What winter slowly does to an EV battery over time. During the winter months, your battery operates in conditions that prevent normal system maintenance. The battery stays colder for extended periods. Even while driving, pack temperatures remain lower than optimal. The thermal management system works constantly, just maintaining a minimum temperature, never reaching the upper ranges where certain battery processes function best. Your battery operates most efficiently between 60 degrees Fahrenheit and 80 degrees Fahrenheit. In winter, even after 20 minutes of highway driving, pack temperature might only reach 45 degrees Fahrenheit. The cells are warm enough to function, but they're not warm enough for the battery management system to perform all its background calibration processes. Think about it this way. Your battery has hundreds of temperature sensors throughout the pack. The system uses temperature to calculate resistance, estimate capacity, and predict available power. When those sensors never see temperatures above 50 degrees Fahrenheit for weeks, the algorithms designed for broader temperature ranges lose accuracy. Charging limits remain lower throughout winter. Cold batteries can't accept full charging power. The battery management system restricts maximum range charge levels to protect cells. This is correct behavior, but it means the system rarely sees the voltage ranges it uses for calibration. A battery charged at 80% of 7 degrees Fahrenheit reaches different voltage levels than the same 80% charge at 35 degrees Fahrenheit. The battery management system needs to observe how cells behave across temperature ranges to maintain accurate state of charge calculations. Continuous cold operation prevents this observation. Regenerative braking is reduced during cold operation. Less energy flows back into the battery. Charging cycles that normally help balance cells happen less frequently or at lower levels. You notice this immediately on cold mornings. Lift off the accelerator and the car just coasts instead of providing the familiar engine braking sensation. The dotted line appears on your display, showing limited regenerative braking. This isn't a malfunction. The battery management system is protecting cold cells from accepting charging current they can't handle safely. But this protective behavior has a secondary effect. Normal driving includes hundreds of small regenerative braking events daily. Each one charges the battery slightly. These micro-charging cycles help keep cell groups balanced. When regenerative braking is reduced for weeks, these balancing opportunities disappear. Battery management data slowly drifts over weeks of restricted operation. The system tracks thousands of parameters across hundreds of individual cells. When operating ranges stay narrow for months, the accuracy of these measurements degrades gradually. None of this is dangerous in the short term. Your battery isn't being damaged by Tuesday's cold commute. The safety systems work perfectly. The thermal management prevents harm. But over months of continuous winter operation, without correction, it adds up. Range estimates become less accurate. You charge at your usual 70% and expect 180 miles of range. The display shows 180 miles, but the actual available range is 165 miles because the battery management system's calculations drifted during months of cold operation. Charging behavior becomes inconsistent. One session reaches 50 kilowatts, the next peaks at 38 kilowatts. Under identical conditions, the battery management system loses confidence in its own data. What looks like sudden battery degradation is often just measurement drift that accumulated over an entire winter. Why EV batteries need periodic rest conditions in winter. EV batteries are managed by software, not just chemistry. The battery management system constantly monitors voltage, temperature, resistance, and state of charge across every cell group in your pack. This monitoring requires reference points. The system needs to occasionally see certain conditions to certify its calculations, to verify its calculations and remain accurate. It needs warm cells operating at higher voltages. It needs charging sessions that reach into upper voltage ranges. It needs to observe normal operating conditions. When conditions stay cold for weeks, the system never sees the reference points. It's operating in a narrow band of temperatures and voltages that don't provide the data needed for accurate calibration. Your battery has hundreds of cells. Each one ages slightly differently. The battery management system tracks these differences to ensure balanced charging and discharging. But this balancing process works best when the pack operates across its full temperature and voltage range. Continuous cold operation prevents this. The system maintains safety and basic function, but it can't perform the background calibration and balancing that keeps everything accurate over time. That's why monthly correction matters. You're giving the battery management system access to conditions it needs to maintain accuracy. You're allowing balancing processes that can't happen when the pack stays cold continuously. The one monthly winter habit that protects battery health. Once per month in winter, you want to create conditions that allow your battery management system to recalibrate and rebalance. This means fully warming the battery through normal driving, not just surface temperature, but getting the entire pack to normal operating temperature through sustained use. You're looking for 60 degrees Fahrenheit to 70 degrees battery temperature, which typically requires 25 to 35 minutes of continuous driving at moderate to highway speeds. It means allowing a higher than usual charge level one time, instead of your typical 60% or 70% daily limit. You'll charge to 90% or 95% once this month. This higher voltage gives the battery management system the reference point it needs. After this higher charge, you'll let the battery management system stabilize. Keep the car plugged in briefly after charging finishes. The system uses this time to perform cell balancing that happens most effectively at higher charge states. This is not daily behavior. You're not changing your entire winter routine. You're intentionally creating specific conditions once per month that winter driving doesn't naturally provide. How to do the monthly winter routine safely. Choose a milder winter day if possible. You don't need perfect weather, but 35 degrees Fahrenheit is better than 5 degrees Fahrenheit. Warmer ambient temperature helps the battery reach optimal temperature faster with less energy consumption. Drive first so the battery is warm before charging. Take a 30-minute drive at normal highway speeds. This generates heat through battery discharge and gets the pack up to operating temperature. Don't charge a cold battery at high levels. After your drive, charge higher than your normal limit once. If you typically charge at 70%, go to 90% this time. If your limit is 60%, charge to 85%. You're reaching into voltage ranges the battery management system needs to see for calibration. Keep the car plugged in briefly after charging finishes. Give it 30 to 60 minutes. The battery management system performs cell balancing during this period. Small voltage differences between cell groups get corrected. This process happens most effectively when the pack is warm and at higher charge states. Return to your normal charge limit afterward. This single high charge cycle provided what the system needed. Resume your normal 60 to 70% daily charging for the rest of the month. The entire process takes about 90 minutes total. 30 minutes driving to warm the pack, time for the charging session, and 30 to 60 minutes of post-charge balancing while plugged in. What this prevents over the course of winter. Skipping this routine all winter creates problems that accumulate slowly. Inaccurate range estimates develop when the battery management system loses calibration. Your display shows 150 miles remaining, but actual range is 130 miles. This happens because the system's calculations drift when it never sees the voltage and temperature conditions it needs for accurate measurement. Uneven charging behavior appears as some cell groups age differently than others without periodic balancing. Charging slows down earlier than it should. The system becomes more conservative because it's protecting the weakest cells. It can't properly balance. Slower DC fast charging speeds occur because the battery management system restricts power when it lacks confidence in cell balance and state of charge accuracy. What used to charge at 150 kilowatts now peaks at 110 kilowatts. Perceived permanent range loss shows up as the combined effect of inaccurate measurements and unbalanced cells. People think their battery degraded 10% over winter. Actually, the battery management system just lost track of actual capacity through months of restricted operation. Doing this monthly routine helps avoid all that. You're maintaining measurement accuracy and cell balance throughout winter instead of letting drift accumulate for months. Why is this about long-term battery life, not daily range? This routine won't magically add miles tomorrow. You won't notice immediate range improvements after your first monthly cycle. It shows up years later. Batteries that maintain accurate calibration and balanced cells throughout winter degrade slower than batteries that operate with accumulated drift for months at a time. The difference appears as slower degradation over the vehicle's lifetime. Your battery retains 88% capacity at 100,000 miles instead of 82%. That 6% difference represents the compounding benefit of preventing winter drift from becoming permanent degradation. More consistent performance emerges over years. Charging speeds remain stable. Range estimates stay accurate. The battery behaves predictably instead of developing the quirks that come from cell imbalance. Better resale value follows from documented battery health. When you sell this vehicle in 5 years, battery condition matters. Consistent capacity retention and balanced cells show up in diagnostic reports that affect trade-in values. Healthier charging behavior continues throughout the battery's life. Proper calibration and balance prevents the conservative charging restrictions that develop when the battery management system loses confidence in its measurements. You're protecting the future battery, not today's trip. This is preventative maintenance, not emergency repair. The right winter mindset for EV owners. You don't need to baby your EV every day. Winter driving doesn't require constant intervention or obsessive monitoring. You just need periodic attention during harsh sessions. One intentional 90-minute routine per month prevents the problems that months of neglect create. Winter EV care is about awareness, understanding that continuous cold operation creates conditions that your battery management system needs to correct periodically. It's about timing, choosing one day per month to create the warm, high-voltage conditions that allow recalibration and balancing. It's about the balance between daily convenience and long-term health. You're not charging to 90% every day. You're doing it once monthly to maintain system accuracy while keeping daily stress low through your normal 60 to 7% routine. Not obsession. This isn't complicated. It doesn't require special equipment or technical knowledge. Drive for 30 minutes, charge higher once, stay plugged in briefly afterward. Done. Your EV battery is designed for winter. The chemistry handles cold. The thermal management maintains safe operation. The system protects itself. But the battery management software needs periodic access to conditions that winter doesn't naturally provide. Months of continuous cold operation without warmer reference points causes temperature drift and cell imbalance that accumulates invisibly. This monthly routine prevents that accumulation. You're giving the system what it needs to maintain accuracy and balance. 90 minutes per month throughout winter protects capacity retention that shows up years later, not tomorrow morning. Professional fleet managers who maintain EVs past 200,000 miles without significant degradation follow this exact approach. They understand that battery health isn't about daily obsession. It's about periodic attention at the right intervals. Choose a mild day this month. Drive 30 minutes to warm the pack. Charge to 90%. Stay plugged in for an hour afterward. Return to normal operation for the rest of the month. Share in the comments whether you've been doing monthly winter conditioning, and subscribe for more EV ownership information that focuses on long-term battery health instead of just daily driving tips.